Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my everyday no makeup routine. I've tried to do an everyday makeup routine almost yearly on my channel since starting YouTube, and over the years my makeup preferences have changed a lot, so it's kind of interesting to look back on my old everyday makeup routines and see how it's kind of changed since I've gotten older and learned more about like skin and makeup and all of that jazz. So this one is going to be quite different to my previous ones because I am not going to be using any foundation, which if you had told me that like 3 years ago, I would have had a heart attack. Foundation has always been a massive part of any makeup routine for me, but I feel like I've just in the last like 6 months learned to really embrace my skin. You guys know I used to struggle with it a lot, and since kind of figuring out how to clear it up, and like I get breakouts but not too many, but yeah, since kind of like figuring out my skin and clearing it up and stuff like that, I really just wanted to embrace the like fresh natural skin look. So I guess you could say my makeup techniques have changed quite a bit since my last everyday makeup routine, which is why I wanted to do an updated version for you guys. Enough rambling from me. I'm gonna get straight into it and show you guys my current everyday no makeup look. So I feel like a massive part of like acing the no makeup look and getting like a really nice base, flawless base, is actually not to do with the makeup. It's to do with how you prep your skin beforehand, because we can still get a little bit of coverage with the concealer that I'm going to show you. But because concealers are typically a lot more of a thicker formula than foundations, if you don't hydrate and prep your skin properly, it might not work. So I spend a lot of time before I go in with the makeup and make sure that my skin is well prepped. And that makes a world of difference. And it also just feels a lot lighter at the end of the day when you're not wearing foundation. So I've cleansed my skin this morning, and now I'm going to go in with my Tatcha Dewy Skin Cream. I absolutely love this stuff. And because we are coming into winter and the days are getting colder, I've noticed my skin has been so much drier lately, like insanely dry. It was almost like it just changed overnight, which is crazy. So I like to use the Dewy Skin Cream to really hydrate my skin. I feel like it just adds in all of that moisture, and it kind of acts as a bit of a defense from like the cold air and like the wind and all of that from winter days. And then another super important skincare product for me is this Innisfree Orchid Eye Cream. I actually got this from YesStyle, which is a Korean beauty online store type thing. They stock a whole bunch of Korean beauty skincare brands, and I had heard really good things about this. All of the reviews looked amazing, and so I picked it up, and I've been really liking it. And I also ordered this little like beauty tool. I don't really know what you would call this. It's like an eye massaging beauty tool. I'm sure it has a proper name, but I saw it on the website and it had me intrigued. So this stick here stays really cool. I don't know how. There's a science behind it. Don't ask me. But basically, rubbing my eye cream in with this is really cooling under my eyes, and I feel like it kind of depuffs my under eyes, if that makes any sense. It could just be a placebo effect. I don't know, but I really like this little addition to my routine lately. So I wanted to add it in to this video. But we are going to be using concealer under our eyes, and obviously the more hydrated your under eyes are, the more natural your concealer will look, because it shouldn't crease or go cakey. So I literally just grab a bit of the cream on the end of this little tool and I rub it in. And because you've got to be quite gentle under your eyes, I feel like this little tool is way more gentle than I ever am when I just use my fingers. And then I just go in with my ring finger and I pat really lightly just to make sure there's no excess sitting on top of my skin. And then the last skincare product that I go in with before I start the makeup is this Ultraviolet Queen Screen Lightweight Sunscreen. This is obviously the SPF for the day. Usually I would try and use a foundation that's got SPF in it, but because we aren't using foundation, this is like incredible. You can wear it underneath makeup. It doesn't budge. It doesn't change your makeup or anything. Like, it is amazing, and it's SPF 50. It's super lightweight. It's not a thick formula at all. It doesn't break me out like a lot of other SPF like face sunscreens do. So yeah, I really like this. So I'm just gonna go ahead and apply that to my skin. I feel like this is super hydrating as well, so it really helps to prep your skin nicely. Like, you can literally see just how moisturizing it is. All right, so I'm just gonna wait it out and let all of those products sink into my skin for the next 5 to 10 minutes, and then I will come back and we'll start the makeup. All right, so I am back. It's been about 10 minutes and hopefully you guys can see the difference in my skin just after that time. It just looks really fresh and glowy, which is what we want. So now I'm gonna go in with concealer and I'm gonna be using my NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. This concealer has been an OG in my collection for so many years. I did go off it for like a year because I felt like it was just getting a bit too cakey under my eyes, but I think I was using it the wrong way. I was getting too caught up in the whole like Instagram makeup and I was caking it on and then wondering why my under eyes looked so dry and cakey afterwards. So that was my own fault. But now I've learned that less is more and the skincare underneath really helps as well. So I'm gonna go in with the lighter shade, which is Light to Vanilla under my eyes. And I'm literally just applying the tiniest amount. That was probably even a bit too much. Just like that. And then I'm gonna take my Sigma Concealer F79 Blend Kabuki brush and pat that into my under eyes. Sometimes I kind of take a mixture of like my fingertips and the brush, just depends on the vibe of the day, you know, but the brush really helps the process go a little bit faster, I feel. Can you guys see how much brighter my under eye looks straight away? I feel like the inner section towards the inner corner of my eye is where I'm usually like the darkest around my eyes. So that's why I apply product in that area, because that's where majority of the product will need to be to add the coverage. And then I just kind of blend it out from there. All right, and then next up I'm gonna go in with a slightly darker shade of this concealer, which is Medium 1 Custard. This is more matching like my natural skin tone rather than like a brightening shade. You don't have to use 2 different shades of concealer for this. Like, you can literally just use one. I don't know, I'm extra AF and I have 2 different shades in my collection, so I like to utilize them as much as I can. So with this one, I like to go over any areas on my skin where there's a little bit of discoloration or some scarring from old breakouts, or if I have any active breakouts, I just dab a tiny bit of this over the top and then blend it in. So I feel like this is where your skincare really comes into it, because like I said earlier, concealers are typically a much thicker formula than foundation, but if you apply a tiny bit of it and blend it into skin that is already really hydrated and ready to go, it blends in so flawlessly and it just looks like skin basically. So that's where all the prep comes into it. So I'm literally just gonna grab the concealer wand. I don't have any active breakouts right now, so I'm just gonna use the concealer wand to apply it. But keep in mind, if you've got active breakouts, probably don't apply the concealer straight from the wand onto the active breakout, because bacteria will transfer and all of that jazz. But yeah, I don't really have any at the moment, so I'm just going to dab it on like so. Alright, I think I've managed to get all of them. Obviously, if you've got perfect skin, which who really does, honestly, but if you do have perfect skin, then you probably won't need to use much of this concealer at all. But now I go in with the same brush that I used under my eyes. I feel like it's just a really good brush, like really universal. You can use it for so many different steps in your makeup routine. But I'm just gonna go in with this, and rather than like dragging the product around, I'm literally just going to pat it into my skin. So I literally just go over all of those areas and pat. And because we've prepped our skin really well beforehand, this concealer should just really easily blend in and look like natural skin, but with a little bit of extra coverage, which is always nice. Alrighty, and as you can see, hopefully you can see, that has literally just completely evened out my skin tone. It has gotten rid of any redness or scarring, any old breakouts. Like, it just makes your skin look a lot more flawless. But if you look up close, it literally still just looks like skin. I am kind of like mad that I didn't start doing this technique sooner, because I'm so obsessed with it and how it makes my skin look now. I just wish I'd been doing it sooner. So yeah. All right, so next up we're going to do a little bit of natural contouring. This is the Clinique Contouring Chubby Stick. I bloody love this product. It is so, so nice. It looks quite dark when you first apply it, but once I blend it in, it does look quite natural. So I'm just going to apply like the tiniest amount just to the shadow area of my cheekbone there. I'm not going to bring it forward too much. I'm literally just looking to create a tiny little shadow under my cheekbone. The reason I try and keep it as short as possible is because when we blend, it will blend down a little bit more. So it just gives us a little bit more room to play with. Otherwise, I find sometimes my bronzer can start coming out around here, and that's when it can start to look a bit unnatural. So again, I'm taking the exact same brush, the Concealer Blend Kabuki, and I'm just going to work that product into my cheekbone. And with any extra, I just kind of blend it up my hairline. And then once I've blended it out that much, I usually just go over and pat it in, which is the same technique that I used for the concealer. And then that is what it looks like once it's all blended in. All right, so depending on your skin type, now is where you would either set or not set your face. I'm going to set my face just because towards the end of the day, I can start to get a little bit oily. So completely up to you depending on what you prefer with your skin type, but I am going to go in with the Laura Mercier Translucent Setting Powder. It's just my favorite natural setting powder. It doesn't add any coverage. It's really lightweight. It kind of blends into the skin. It doesn't look like you've just applied powder. And weirdly enough, I really like to apply my setting powder with the Sigma Tapered Highlighter F35 brush. It's only a small brush, but I feel like it gives me more control over how much product I'm picking up and applying to my face. Whereas if I was using a bigger fluffy brush, I feel like it's a lot heavier with the amount of product. And I always tap the excess product off before I apply it to my face. And I just kind of lightly apply it all over. Some people prefer to just do this in their T-zone. Other people prefer to not apply setting powder at all. It just really depends on your skin type and what you feel would last better throughout the day. Alrighty, so next up is blush, and I'm gonna go in with the Clinique Cheek Pop blush in the shade Melon Pop. I think I've used this exact blush in my last couple of makeup videos. It's just my favorite at the moment. I really like the formula, and I feel like it's one of the only blushes that actually lasts on my skin. A lot of the time I feel like blushes fade really fast, but this one I feel like just doesn't budge, which I love. So just going to pick that up on my Sigma F10 blush brush and basically just apply it lightly to the areas where I would usually apply blush. And I feel like this is what gives you a really fresh look. Adding color back into your skin just makes the world of difference. Look at that. It just makes you look really youthful, really fresh. I also like to put a little bit of it over my nose, like any excess that's left on my brush. And then of course, I always go in with highlighter just because I really like to have my skin looking glowy. So again, this is personal preference, but I know some people prefer not to have highlighter if they're wanting to keep their makeup as natural as possible. So my favorite everyday natural highlighter is the Benefit Cosmetics Dandelion Twinkle. This is my second box of this product. I freaking love this highlighter. I use it non-stop, and honestly, in my eyes, no other highlighter exists except for this one. I feel like no one ever talks about it either. Like I never hear anyone else talking about this highlighter, but it is my personal favorite. So if you haven't tried it, I highly recommend. So I'm only picking up the tiniest amount, and then I'm going to apply it with like the lightest hand right over the top of my cheekbones, just to add a nice little amount of glow. So that was one swipe into the product that's just done both of my cheeks. And then I'm literally just gonna go over, I haven't picked up any other product. I'm just using the excess to go over the rest of my face, just in the areas that I want the light to really like hit and bounce off my face. So generally that's like just above my brow arch, I guess. And then on the end of my nose, just down my nose bridge. And then yeah, that's it. keeps it looking really, really natural. All right, so for brows, I keep these pretty minimal. I'm pretty lucky I have my brows tattooed on, so I don't need to do too much to them. The only thing I really do is put Gimme Brow by Benefit Cosmetics through them lightly. It just adds like a little bit of color, but it also just helps to keep any brow hairs in place throughout the day. So this is the shade 3 in Gimme Brow, and I literally just run it super lightly, and I feel like it adds just the right amount of color, and more than anything it just keeps them in place for the whole day. Obviously brows are like a personal thing, so if you don't have yours tattooed on and you feel like you need a little bit more shape throughout the day, go in with whatever product you usually use. But yeah, a little bit of brow gel just does the job for me. All right, so for mascara, I am going in with my Marc Jacobs Velvet Noir mascara. This is one of my all-time favorite mascaras ever. I feel like you can wear it super, super light for an everyday natural look, or if you want a little bit more, it's so easy to build up and add extra volume with like a couple of layers of this, and it looks amazing then as well. I actually have an empty one down here that I was hoping I could get product out of, but I think it's like really, really at the end. So lucky I had a backup. I also always curl my lashes because I have the straightest lashes ever. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like ISO has done really good things for my lashes because, I mean, I haven't had lash extensions in ages, but I feel like my lashes are just really good at the moment. Like they're the longest they've ever been. So I just go in with one light coat of this mascara. And for like a really everyday natural look, I only do my top lashes because sometimes I feel like if I do my top and bottom, it can just look a little bit heavy. But again, that's personal preference, so completely up to you. And then last but not least is, of course, lips. I don't know about you guys, but I am much more of like a lip balm girl than I am a lipstick girl. So for an everyday look, I basically just put on lip balm. I know some people use a lip liner all over their lips and then put a lip balm over the top, so it still looks kind of natural, but they can kind of manipulate the color of their lips a little bit. And depending on the day, some days I will do that, but generally I'm pretty lazy and I'll just rock my natural lip color, which I feel like I have quite pigmented lips anyway, so I can kind of get away with it. But my favorite lip balm for at least like a year now, I swear, has been this Laneige sleeping mask. I use this and nothing but this. I use this before I go to bed. I use this first thing when I wake up. I use this all throughout the day. I am obsessed with this stuff. So yeah, this is the final step for me. I'm just gonna go in and apply a little bit of this. Keeps your lips super, super hydrated throughout the day, which especially coming into winter, if you guys struggle with chapped lips, I would highly recommend this product. But I feel like it just adds the perfect amount of shine, but not too much. It's not super sticky. It's just a really, really nice formula. I actually just got a brand new one from YesStyle, which is the Korean beauty website as well. So I'll have everything linked down below, but I'll especially have the YesStyle website linked down below so that you guys can check out any of the Korean beauty products. I'm like kind of obsessed with them at the moment. So yeah, and that is pretty much the entire look. If I'm in a hurry, like I can usually get that makeup look done in like 5 minutes. It is so quick and easy, and I feel like it just looks so glowy and fresh and natural. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and learnt some new makeup tips and tricks or techniques from it. If you did, please let me know in the comments down below, and feel free to post any of your little no makeup tricks as well, because we can all jump down there and learn from each other. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up down below, and if you're new to my channel, feel free to hit the subscribe button down below and become a part of the family, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.